Woo. Focus, focus. Okay, cool. Hey guys, I'm going to tell you a funny story. At the time, it was actually a really terrifying experience, but it's pretty funny to think back on. This is the story about how I got trapped in Heathrow Airport. The first thing that happened is we woke up. At this time we were in Munich and we were going to fly from Munich to Barcelona and Barcelona to Heathrow and then Heathrow to LAX. And so what ended up happening is we could not print our boarding passes from Barcelona to LAX because for some reason you can only print one boarding pass at a time. And so we did get instructions that we could get it printed at the airport, which was cool. When we got to the airport, they wouldn't let us print our boarding passes, and so we didn't know what to do. We had a short layover, and so we hoped that we could print our boarding passes somehow in Barcelona so that we could actually fly out of there, because otherwise we would have been trapped. So luckily when we got there, we were able to get our boarding passes, and that was really cool, and lucky, honestly. So then what ended up happening is we were going to fly to Heathrow. Our flight was majorly delayed, and so you know what it's like probably if you've been to Heathrow or been through Heathrow, that when you're changing terminals and you're doing the whole international flying thing, it just doesn't work out very well. So what ended up happening is we were late for our flight. Well, actually we weren't late for the flight, we were just not on time for the boarding by just a little bit. So they closed the gates and we were locked in there. The hard thing is, if you've ever been in Heathrow, sometimes what happens is there's those transits that you take that will take you to different parts of the airport, and you're supposed to go in one way and get out the other. Well, it's designed in a way that once you're at the place where you're supposed to get on a plane and leave, at that point, you can't go back because it's not supposed to work the other way. We ran with our suitcases up to the gate and they were like, no. And so that was disappointing because we were all running with 20-pound bags like, going through the airport. So once we got there and that didn't work and they denied us, we were all pretty grumpy. But then we couldn't get back to the normal part of the airport to leave. So we were trapped there, and no trams were coming in, so we were all just kind of, at this point, pretty hysterical, pretty much screaming, "Get us out of here!" And so then what happened after that is we eventually got on a tram and went the wrong way, which we got. What ended up happening is we had to reschedule a flight, but we couldn't get out the same day, so we had to stay another night in London, and we were already tired from waking up early and having to do all this flying, and we ended up flying from Heathrow to Dallas to LAX. And so what happened is, man, I was awake for 23 hours and it was so terribly exhausting. I got home and I was just shaking and I felt hungry, but I felt like no appetite because I was in planes all the time. And I finally got home after all that, but when we were there, we didn't even know if we were going to get home. But luckily, the hotel that they sent us to, because they made a mistake and had their flight be late and not allow us to get on their flight back, they had pretty good food, which we were paid for, and a nice hotel room, so works out. Alright guys, hope you liked this story. I'll talk to you all later. Bye! Wow, I'm really off-centered, aren't I? Ah!